commit to
Yeah, he's committing next. If I'm looking at his
Tennessee.
video, he'll probably make an announcement. I would probably say in the next 7 days. Did you see his tweet yesterday, though? He had a real cryptic tweet
Yeah,
yesterday.
you can go anywhere and make it to the league.
And I'm going to say this, my opinion. I think that tweet yesterday was meant for a certain program in his top five. A certain program that has been known for putting wide receivers in the first round, that has been perceived as his leader for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of have a similar situation to whereas they thought they some people said he was a silent there. They thought that he should be in the class by now, and now they might be getting frustrated with how things have kind of gone in his recruiting and the way things are. Well, the way Tennessee is kind of coming to the picture. I knowing him the way I know him and why he does things on social media, I kind of took that as a little shot, a little dig. I kind of took that as a little dig. Now, see, Lucky Lefty podcast, we'll get into it, man. There's some real cryptic stuff going on right now in recruiting, man. I'm Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Lucky Lefty Pod. That dude right there, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire at Overtime Malik on Instagram, Malik Zaire 8 on Twitter. We left yesterday's show discussing the announcement of CJ Carr that's coming up Thursday, how it impacts Notre Dame, how it impacts. Like, dude, I was on the phone with recruits, their fathers. Like, this news is like everybody wants to know. And it's going to be impactful. And we're about to spend some time talking about how impactful everything we're hearing is going to be. But I feel bad because we probably should have done and another thing last night after you got done. Another great interview on your part last night over at Irish Players Club on Micah Bell, a kid that's trending towards Notre Dame. Very raw, athletic kid.
It's a different kind of kid.
Different kind of kid. Notre
But you can tell
Dame.
he want to go to Notre Dame.
Say it again.
You can tell he's probably going to go to Notre Dame.
And another kid, Micah Tees. If you read the tea leaves on him, most people thought he would stay home and go to Oklahoma. He might be really, really in play for Notre Dame in the month of June. Joe Otting commits to Notre Dame. 4 spots taken. They're only taking 5 reportedly along the offensive line, and they still have Monroe Freeland and Charles Jagasaw still coming in for visits in the month of June. So it's a lot going on, man. We'll have to see how all of this plays out. I talked to my boy Christian Gray yesterday. He took his official to LSU, and he's headed to Notre Dame this weekend. And got a story coming out in I think tomorrow about him and previewing his visit. But yeah, man, the elephant in the room, right? That's why everybody's jumping in right now. The elephant in the room. You can go ahead and tell everyone the story that you called me with, and we probably should have done a show last night. But the story you called me with and how everything broke down, and then we'll get right into it.
Yeah, man, it was kind of crazy how it took place, but got some inside information due to kind of the circumstances around why CJ Carr would commit so early, and a lot of it was similar to what we've talked about yesterday. Was in order to commit so early in the class, you had to have had some talks about the class above him, and I think that those were some confirmations he was able to secure on a confidence level to be able to commit. And I think that means a lot because it shows how Notre Dame is moving really aggressively in this space where we've talked about it takes 5-star guys to turn a program around, and they're not waiting on 5 stars either. And I think that shows the confidence that Marcus Freeman has and Tommy Rees has and their ability to develop guys at this stage because they're like, okay, we got one guy that wants to come and he's sold right now and he trusts that we can take him to that next level. So yeah, we want him, but we're not pressed about him like we may have been before. Like a situation at Ohio State, they're pretty pressed about getting a guy coming after CJ Stroud that's an elite player. So, it's one of those things where we in order to feel this good this early, you definitely have had to had some talks from the guys that made the decisions.
So what's next, right? You got reports coming out from other people, not confirmed by anybody, but what they're hearing is that Notre Dame is not going to be recruiting Dante Moore anymore. And on top of that, see, this is where it gets strange. According to people, Dante Moore has been actively recruiting and talking to recruits and commits up until last week. Up until last week. And I'll be honest with you. We'll get to this on the back end, man. It as a father this morning, I'm beyond upset, bro.
Mm.
I'm beyond upset, man. Let me tell you something. I can throw this out there now. We can get back to it. This is something me and my wife said to each other when my daughter was like 2 years old. We looked each other in the eye and we made a promise to each other. We said we would never allow our lives to be a hindrance to the dreams that she has.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
would never allow our mistakes, our flaws, our insecurities to be a hindrance to her dreams. If we screw up, we're not going to make her pay for it on the back end.
That's right.
Or help it out on the back end. It's her dream. I'll get to that. We talked about it yesterday. They said absolutely. There's no way CJ Carr would commit this early without having a conversation.
Yeah.
Period. It's not happening.
And a strong conversation because he's
Absolutely.
a 5-star. You know what I mean? He's not the he's not a guy where they're like, we want you to wait on your commitment. It's a guy that he's got schools banging down his door that are competing schools for championships as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Notre Dame kind of likes the refreshing sense that this whole wanting to come to Notre Dame thing is serious.
Mm.
So that's including 5 stars like CJ Carr, where we may not have to wait as long
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they see the light at the end of the tunnel.
And I want to point out and make reference to this. No, I'll save that for the back end. So I'll tell you what I disagree with, if indeed this is the case, what's being reported. I have no problem taking CJ Carr. I have no problem having a conversation with CJ Carr. If I were the parents of CJ Carr, I would demand to have the conversation. I need to know now.
But I don't think the staff was going to let him commit without telling him either. I think Marcus Freeman knows, and Tommy Rees knew what was out there,
Yeah,
and
and
probably addressed it at the camp.
yeah, and on top of that, there is a story out there that he may reclassify, which I held on to that. I knew that Sunday from talking to a commit that asked me, had I heard whether or not he was going to reclassify. And I said, no, I haven't heard anything like that. So I don't know if that's in the process. Would it make sense if the stories are true to move on, knowing that he is going to be your quarterback in the 23 class through reclassification? Could be.
Oh, meaning he'll go a grade above.
Yes.
Oh, like, okay, so yeah, it would make sense.
And now it makes sense. Like, okay, you're the 23 dude, right? And they can still go get Jaden Davis or another quarterback in 24. Makes sense.
There's some slick moving around now.
Makes sense.
There's some
So
slick moving around.
and up to, like, you have been the one that's been in contact with Dante more than anybody. And talking to people. Dude, he went on visits, and even after he went on all the visits, the majority of the people that spoke to him came away saying he's going to Notre Dame. Right? We were flat out told by other recruits that he was going to Notre Dame. Right? So now let's deconstruct what's really happening here. If everybody believes that he's going to Notre Dame, what the hell is really going on? What the hell is really going on? And what has gotten Notre Dame to the point, and his coaching staff to the point where they feel like, you know what? Hey, we can sit up here and debate who you think is better between Dante Moore and CJ Carr. It is what it is, right?
They're both averaging 9 wins a season. They're both elite in that aspect. It just comes down to who's gonna make the play in the playoffs, who's gonna make the play in the game that gets to the playoffs, and who's gonna make the play to win the game. So they're both capable of doing it, but who stands above in that aspect?
And on top of that, we reiterate, like, the whole thing about Dante Moore was changing the narrative of the quarterback in Notre Dame, right? That needs to happen with Tyler Buchner. Like, we don't need to wait for Dante Moore to get his opportunity to change the narrative. Tommy Rees needs to develop Tyler Buchner. Tyler Buchner needs to become that guy. And that's how you change the narrative and start to attract top quarterbacks.
It's the status of what Dante symbolizes, the top of the top.
Yes.
Is what we are recruiting.
Yes.
Dante's just a kid in that status in which we're going for at that position, because we know that's going to elevate the room.
And if Buchner plays, let's keep it funky, right? If CJ commits, and this is what I disagree with, right? Unless you're being upfront and honest with all of your commits and the wide receivers left on the board about everything, I wouldn't just not recruit Dante. I wouldn't. Because what you know is that you're the place he wants to be if everything was pure. We're just talking about purely football, school, staff. You know Notre Dame is the place he wants to be. Dude, like, no one can disagree with that. Absolutely no one. See, you can't allow any kid to dictate to you who you can or can't recruit.
Yeah, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Yeah,
that ain't happening.
We played the game, but we can't. Not the whole time.
So like, yo, yeah, we can have the conversation. I understand your concerns about Dante, but it is what it is. Either you're a competitor or you're not. Because guess what? If you're the 23 guy, we're going to get another 5-star for the 24 class. And then we're going to go and get another one for the 25 class. So you're going to have to compete.
Yeah, like now you jumping into the room thick, so we don't know who gonna come out on top, but we appreciate all the talent
Right.
because it's
So
like no other room now.
let's keep it funky. All of the recruits, once again, this goes to how the staff has handled things leading up to this and how they're going to handle things afterwards. What have you been telling recruits? Because this dude has been he has been talking to commits.
Yeah, but because it changes the narrative then because he was calling Drake Bowen about recruiting 24. So if he's reclassifying, it kind of like, what are we doing? You know?
And it's you talking about CJ Carr.
Right.
Yeah, who reached out to Drake Bowen Sunday night and had a conversation.
I
And they
think for
just talked about
sure,
some things.
I think a certainty is that CJ's committing to Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I
at
think
this
what
point,
happens after that, it could go many different ways.
yeah,
I think it does put pressure on Dante because Notre Dame is like, hey, all right, now we love you, but we love ourselves too. And I think it kind of puts it more in the position of, like we talked about earlier, the longer you wait, I mean, people gonna commit.
yeah.
That's just what happened. The world don't stop. So we don't say you have to speed up your timing for what feels right,
Mm-hmm.
but there's urgency to everything. You know, this is major college football.
Urgency is not even the word, man. But I'm just, this is me. And I understand how frustrating it can get, right? Matter of fact, this is the perfect time. You called me this weekend and you said, Shaun, I have a theory on quarterbacks. You remember this? You said, I have a theory on quarterbacks. And I said, perfect. We'll talk about it at the right time. Today, the show today is the right time. Like, share with LL Nation what you told me about quarterbacks and how they perform, and when you really look back at what took place leading up to them deciding where to go to school and how telling it can be.
I think a common denominator with all these top quarterbacks, you got to look at their dad and their involvement of their dad. And, you know, you see a lot of the behind the scenes work as their dad being that lead decision maker for the kid or just a huge influence. And it's usually the personality of the dad reflects on the kid and how they go about it usually determines the play of the kid, especially when the stakes are raised and when it matters. And you know, some examples of that, you see a guy like DJ Uangale at Clemson. His dad is a very, you know, hands-on type of guy, maybe in it for the right or wrong reasons. You know, they want to get the most public, you know, attraction they can, 5-star guy, all of that. But you're overselling, you know, the talent of your son at the same time. But when you're so driven on the hype of being the guy and you get in that position, you know, you can't hide talent at that level, you know, and it reflects on the kid's ego. You know, that some kids are built for situations and bouncing back and going through that journey, and then other kids are like, man, this is too much. And then you look at a kid like Bryce Young's dad, very good guy, cool guy, very personable, sees it for what it is, takes advantage of the moment. I mean, had Bryce committed to USC, modern day connection, everything is in line in that aspect. Wasn't chasing too much of the bag, was just more focused on what was best for his son. Alabama came in position. They saw the opportunity. They didn't make too much of big headway about it, made the switch and stuck with it. And I think the personalities of the player's dad and how they go about the recruiting process reflects a lot on how the kid plays at that school. So what happens with Bryce? A lot of things and expectations come his way, but the personality of his dad is like, yo, he got this. He can handle this. And what's the reflection? Bryce seems unfazed by it, So I think that influence from your dad really plays an effect. I mean, Tom Marinovich, you see it in the chat and how his dad's influence, even though it was a great talent, the weight of the expectation and the hype, it's not always meant for every kid. You have to be able to be honest in that evaluation. You see a guy like Spencer Rattler. I love the kid to death. I think he's still top 3 talent, deserving to be a first round talent. I know he's gonna have a good season in South Carolina, but when you in the Hollywood mode, your dad, is not talking to nobody because he's waiting for Drew Rosenhaus and waiting for all the secret hookups and all type of stuff like that. It reflects on the kid. And when things don't go the right way because you've been baby fed and publicized, you the number one guy and all that, and your play's not matching, some kids can't deal with that. And so I think, having a good foundation as a dad specifically, Father's Day coming up, and how you handle talented guys, not just, like LeVar Ball, his kids were talented. So all the extra stuff he was doing, the kids could back up. But if your kid can't back it up, maybe you should take him to something where his level fits.
Yeah, Lucky Lefty podcast. And this is not a referendum. And, I need people to relax, man. Like, it's over. So it's like stop holding on to something that you feel like is right. It's over. The NCAA, school presidents and schools taking advantage of the name, image, and likeness of people and pimping them out, and trying to hold tuition over their heads as if it's equal to that. It's not. It's not fair. And we shouldn't be here at this point. If the NCAA had been fair years ago and just given a percentage to players that's owed to them for their name, it's their name. You can't, just like we can't license the interlocking ND, we just can't throw it on a t-shirt without getting sued. No, you shouldn't be allowed to put somebody's name on the back of a jersey and partake of it without breaking them off a piece. It's theirs. It belongs to them. And if the NCAA had any sense, instead of being brats about the situation, we wouldn't be in this situation.
But that's the thing. When you sign, when you go to school, they don't talk about it a lot, but you got to sign a bunch of stuff.
It's a 1-year contract.
Yeah, you basically signing over your rights to under the NCAA. So that's why they like, what do you mean? Of course you can't. You signed everything over. You said it was okay.
Right.
But you got to sign in order to play. So it's like, it's one of them.
It's like a bad record deal.
Yeah, you sign into a 360 and it's so standard because you can't challenge it because that's just you got to pay to play. And that's why it was so easy before. They're like, what do you mean give them percentage? Why? They willingly signed over all their rights to us.
Right. Exactly. And now the football players are no longer the new artists that don't know anything. Now they know the business.
Yeah, they want their masters.
And they're on the second. Absolutely. They're on their second contract. And now they're coming to the labels asking for their masters.
Right.
And they're publishing.
And they publishing.
We want our masters and our publishing, which they have the right to.
Yeah, you just do distribution. You just do the merch. But everything else,
instead of forming a partnership that works for everybody, we still have people living back trying to hold an education over their heads. We're giving you an education.
We got YouTube these days, man.
Yeah, that doesn't give you the right. I don't care what you're giving me. That doesn't give you the right to profit off of my name.
In the disguise of amateurism.
It's been deemed by the courts as unlawful. Move on. It's a wrap. It's unlawful. Move on. Now, what's come from that, and kids that have never taken a snap getting millions of dollars, I'm not particularly fond of that. But it's the market.
Why not, though?
It's the market.
Why would you not be fond of it?
I'm not fond of it because you haven't done anything.
Yeah, they have.
No, you haven't done anything. You know how many bust? You know how many 5 stars bust?
Wait a minute though.
No, this is me.
But in the NFL though, when you get paid that second contract, it's about what they project in the future. It's no different. They're not paying you for what you've done. They paying you for what we see in the future.
Since you brought up the second contract, then NIL should be slotted then. Oh, cool. I'm with that. Just like the NFL first round is slotted from a contractual standpoint,
but
slot the NIL.
But the NFL shouldn't be slotted because think about running backs. Running backs
No, it is.
Their first year.
I don't want to hear it shouldn't be. It is. It is slotted. You're the one that brought up the second contract in the NFL. You're right. So now let's go to the first contract, which is slotted. Right?
So what's the maximum?
Who determines the maximum?
I think 8 million, 10 million and under is good.
Okay. So now every quarterback under that should get less, right? Should get less, right? Since it's slotted.
Nico already set the market, so it can't just be 8 million.
Okay, and based upon what you just said about dads, Nico probably won't be that dude. Based upon the theory you just said.
Maybe
Tennessee
not.
just gave $8 million to somebody that's not going to be
might not be that guy.
Might not be that guy.
That's right.
Based upon the theory that you just said.
They're absolutely right.
So now
I'm not saying he's not going to be. I just think that you can look through different scenarios. But what changes all those scenarios is the same thing I talk about all the time. And that's expectations. It's cool to have all of this money when we ain't expect you to win no championship.
Mm-hmm.
But year 2, when it's like, all right, now we got to beat Bama. Now where the 8 million coming at? Because it ain't easy no more.
Well, dude, this is the problem. When you hear Nick Saban complaining to his alumni about needing money, when you hear Ryan Day putting out the bat signal to the Ohio State alumni saying this is how much money it's going to take
to beat Notre Dame. Let's just add that
in. Basically, it's getting to a point where it's going to hurt young men because they're going, look, Jimbo Fisher hasn't won more than 9 games in 5 seasons? Like, I don't care how much NIL money you can get. What have they won as a program? Like, the money is taking the focus off of what you really should be deciding your future on.
But then again, too, it's literally the cream top 3 or 4, 5, 6 players like that having those decisions. The Dante, where you're going for glory or you going for the right road.
So you don't think? Wait a minute.
But a 4-star receiver, Malik Elsley, a very good player, he's not having that tough decision of, man, do I take this $8 million from Oklahoma?
You don't know that. You don't know that.
We would hear about it.
I'm from Chicago. I'm telling you, you don't know that.
$8 million?
You don't think he's?
I know that.
You don't think? No. We're not saying $8 million, but you don't think Illinois?
That's all I'm saying.
He probably
got something in the works.
You don't think Illinois is painting a picture? Like, you don't go there.
Oh yeah, no, they need to
come here and be the dude from the jump.
If Illinois was a cap space in a professional team, they should have the most for a superstar.
Facts.
We need to talk about these colleges, how they are. They
top 3 business school, absolutely. Top 3 engineering school. They keep building in Champaign. They keep enlarging the city. So the money's there. I don't know if they're going to invest it in the athletic program.
The money's there. And put that cap out there. We got a $50 million cap. So let's get them in.
Do you come and compete at Notre Dame? Or do you go be the guy or looked upon as the savior with a bunch of billboards and champagne and already set up. Like Carnell Tate said, you can become a first-round pick anywhere.
See?
If you're that dude. Matter of fact, he just got bumped up in the rival rankings like 40 spots based upon his summer. Malik Elzy. So, look, man, I'm all for people getting paid. I just think it's some dumb teams out here overpaying.
You're not missing too much on a 5-star quarterback, though, through history. I don't know too many 5-stars that are just crashing out.
Wasn't Blake Barnett a 5-star quarterback that committed to Notre Dame and then his dad led him to Alabama?
Blake Barnett
turn
fits
out?
in the category of like an Arch Manning, who
How'd
Arch
that
Manning don't
turn
do
out?
nothing. Arch Manning doesn't do anything, and he's the number one quarterback. Blake Barnett is in that category where there's some guys, like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. The Joe Schmidt effect back in the Brian Kelly era.
Okay.
There's always that one guy on the team that's starting that you like, you know what?
He's
I don't know.
important.
I don't know if Notre Dame is putting the best guy out there in that position, but you need him out there.
I'll go there with you. Post ankle injury, I'll rock with you.
Okay.
Post ankle injury, I'll rock with you on Joe Smith.
Okay.
Like post ankle, Niles Morgan should have been in there.
Niles Morgan should have been in there, though.
Facts. I'll rock with you on that. I'll rock
But
with
that
you on
really
that.
impacted now. I think that impacted Niles because everybody kind of felt like that, you know. So, but anyway, Niles doing his thing in CFL. Shout out to him. Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, you know, up there in Canada. So, but same kind of thing. Like, there's always that one guy that you don't really, you know, but whatever.
Hey, you know what it is, man. And like somebody said, he got bumped up for distancing himself from Notre Dame. He hasn't distanced himself from Notre Dame. He was just at the blue and gold game.
Oh man, Niles he'll rep that Notre Dame everywhere.
And no, I'm talking about Malik Elzy.
Oh,
he was just at the blue and gold game, literally having a ball. So he hasn't distanced himself from Notre Dame at all. You know, his decision is all about what's best from him and competing. Literally, when you have your in-state school saying, yo, you can come be the dude. We're going to build dude. You getting like targets from day one.
Champaign not a bad spot to be in.
And then you know you have to go to Notre Dame and compete. I mean, that's
right now. I don't
about.
even as good as I feel about Notre Dame. I think the summer's going to be tough for them to decide who they putting out there.
You talking about the actual squad?
The starters, defensively. Even maybe offensively. Like, who's that starting receiver core day Ohio State game? I don't know.
Lindsey and Zoe will start.
Would they? Because Chancey, that's not Chancey's guys.
What are you saying? A freshman about to come in and start? Man, you bugging.
The way Marcus Freeman moving in recruiting. What you think he telling these? Why you think the 23 class, everybody think they going first round?
You're bugging.
Why you think the 23
you think
class?
Lorenzo Styles won't be a starter?
No, Styles in there. Styles in there for sure.
Okay.
Styles,
and if you think Brady Lindsey won't be a starter, you're bugging.
I'm not saying he's not going to start. I'm just saying that we're going to see a lot of guys in there.
Oh, rotation is definitely going to be.
Rotation is happening.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yeah, we're not finna just see a guy out there all game.
I agree with that.
Styles. I hope it's Styles because he's probably the most ready right now. But we're gonna see a lot of action.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. So basically conversation, I joked. I can say this. I joked with Drake Bowen that the way things are going, you know, the 24 class is trying to outdo the 23 class. It's like a little rivalry going on within the program, a little competition, right? Because if Carr indeed stays in the 24 class and he commits on Thursday, I predict the domino effect of early commitments on the offensive side of the ball for Notre Dame. I'll just leave it at that. So
Notre Dame's gonna be deep. I know that.
that's the effect of having a quarterback. But this is why, as I said before, I don't know if I fully explained this, and let me wrap it up with a nice little bow. What's being reported is that Notre Dame is backing off Dante. That's what's being reported. Let me say it again. The Lucky Lefty podcast did not say that Notre Dame is backing off Dante. It is being reported by other people that that's what's happening. That's what they're hearing. This is why I personally disagree with that, if that's the path they're taking. Number one, I don't care how much you love a kid, that kid does not dictate to me who I recruit, how I recruit, and whether I continue to recruit. No. You've invested way too much in this class. It's not just about Dante.
Yeah.
You have continually sold to this class on the offensive and defensive side of the ball that's the face. And we said,
like
more
you
than
said,
anything,
it's the face, but it's the meaning of that position.
absolutely.
If you got the 5-star quarterback in the class right there,
absolutely,
that's the beacon of the class.
Absolutely.
This year, it happens to be Dante, how they framed it.
Absolutely.
But when you put another guy in that position, CJ, it's the same effect. Because now you're going to see what happens when the 5-star starts the class. Now guys going to be like, okay, we thinking national championship. They got CJ Carr. Defensively, they like, we got Marcus Freeman. We see in the national championship. Oh, we got Al Golden. We see a national championship.
Yep.
But offensively, it's like Tommy Reese and who? Oh, they got CJ. Oh, I'm going to get the ball.
Yeah.
That's the effect.
Yep. So, once again, I differ, right? Because I think it would be unwise just to tell Dante, we don't want you anymore.
Yeah, they're not telling him that.
That's not a good look. That's not a good look.
They telling CJ that. They not telling Dante that. And I do think those words being said was meant to just stay wherever it was meant to stay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't look. That's why I pause when I hear these reports, because I'm like, nah, it's not a good look. And if I am, look, bro, you know how you invest so much that's like, you know what? We're all in.
We all in.
Remember, we did a podcast. People don't listen to me, bro. Like when everybody was buzzing about Dante committing in March and April, and I said, if I were his dad, I wouldn't commit to Notre Dame until I saw what the offense looked like at the beginning of the season. That's what I said. I would have to watch 4 to 6 games to give my approval.
No,
That's
straight
what
up.
I said. And everybody was like, oh, no, he loves Notre Dame. No. That's fine. I'm telling you, I'm not talking about NIL. No. I'm talking about just as a father making sure.
We got to see what Tyler Buckner look like.
Exactly. I need to see what Tommy Rees looks like and Tyler Buckner looks like. I need to see what the offense is going to look like.
Because he has the luxury, because he's the 5-star.
Absolutely. And what you have is you have Notre Dame wanting something to spearhead the 23 class, and then you have a 5-star quarterback operating normally. This isn't like abnormal behavior by a 5-star quarterback. This is pretty much on par.
We just got a CJ who fell in love with the school.
Facts.
You know, he loved Notre Dame. It ain't,
Facts.
you know, it's way bigger than just he taking his time and all that, but he like, man, I want to be there. That's
Facts.
and Dante is taking the approach of a regular 5-star. Shit, I got a lot of great options. I want to make sure I go in there and be at the right place. So
Now, is that all at his is that at the inspiration of someone else around him, close to him, connected to him?
Of course. These are big decisions that need a bigger head than just an 18, 17-year-old.
You know, do I agree? Because I don't think picking a college football team is any different than my daughter picking the school that was best for what she wants to do in life.
Right.
Right? It was like, oh, I want to go into theater and film. Should I go to the University of Illinois or should I go to the University of Southern California?
Yeah, straight up.
One makes more sense for what you want to do. It's no different for an athlete. What do you want to do? Who are you as a player? What program or what coaching staff makes more sense? That's ultimately what the decision comes down to, or what it should come down to. Now, here comes NIL. And the game has changed. And maybe at the core, that is what the decision comes down to. But now, the money drags things out. It just does. It drags things out. It makes people think gives them a second thought about what they might be feeling in their heart. And they have the right to go through that process and make that decision.
That's right.
But of course, you cannot. There's no way you can just tell them, man. Look, man, that would be like, it's just my opinion. Once again, man, you can get caught up in your ego, right? Don't get caught up in your ego. You've done the work. Now trust the work you've done. I don't care if it's August, September, October, November. I don't care if it's the final day. Your name is on the ballot. Now it's up to him whether or not he chooses it.
Yeah, I mean, shoot. Period. That's,
you know what I'm saying? You don't get your name on the ballot and then at the last hour pull out the race.
Mm-mm.
For what? For what? For a kid that's not even in the same class?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, look, man, I don't know. I don't know. But I said it, bro. I said it. I just I didn't believe the whole March, April, early commitment thing. Even back then, when you were speaking to him, I didn't believe it. Because I just felt like as a dad, Tommy Rees has to prove to me that he can handle my son correctly. I need to see it.
I gotta see it.
I need to see it. And that's going to take at least a month of me watching this offense before I say, okay, I can see this, son. If that's where you want to go ahead and make the decision. And I can rock with that. But see, has Notre Dame been so focused on trying to get him to publicly commit instead of understanding what was going on and say, you know what? What do you need to see as this plays out? What do you need to see? Because at some point, you keep pulling, you're going to make it worse. You stress yourself out.
Yeah, you're going to make it worse.
You're going to make it worse. Because ultimately, they get to do what they want to do.
Yeah, and I think it just goes back to that's that relationship recruiting colleges. It's that pull and tug of interest and no interest and getting to commit. It's a dating relationship. So I think for us, we realizing we actually kind of cute in school and changed our appearance a little bit, and we like the attention we get now.
Yeah.
So the one person that was playing us all high school, you're gonna have to take a missed call here or there. I'm not answering first ring no more.
Right.
I ain't got two or three now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of where Notre Dame is with it. But a true love story always come together. I think he gonna find the right place, and it's gonna fit everybody.
Thank you for the super chat, Beachville. Appreciate you. Quarterback situation is a concern. Tyler is injury prone, and the other young man just doesn't appear to have the tools outside of leadership.
Yeah, you just don't get a sense from looking in the room outside of Tyler, like, oh man, he's gonna take over the team. It just looks like a bunch of friends hanging out in the treehouse, and they pick a straw who roll out there that day. So
yeah,
I do like a little of the spark I see from Angeli, but we not hearing enough from him from the people on the team yet. So until the team starts speaking for a guy,
they start buzzing for him. Yeah.
Until the team start buzzing about a guy in that quarterback room, I don't really, I think there's room for improvement in there too.
And let's be real, right? Some people use the word pressure yesterday, and I pushed back a little bit. I think the correct word is leverage, right? The Carr situation, if it goes the way that most people are reporting Thursday night, will end up being good leverage, right?
Great leverage because he lived in Michigan too.
Now we know the two guys that are tied at the hip in the 23 class. One came out and basically said he's making his decision. He's just waiting on the videographer to put it together. He knows where he's going, right? His decision is coming up in the next 7 to 10 days. I don't see the decision of the other guy coming. I think it comes right behind his. I think it comes right behind his. I really do. I think that's the influence they have on one another.
Really?
Flat out. Who's to say certain people don't see what happened? They see what happens Thursday. They talking to their boy. Like, oh man, you making your decision next week? And he places a phone call like, you know what? Let's do this.
Maybe the video got our boy Dante in there too. You never know.
All I know is, with everything that's being reported, I've seen the words, they're backing off Dante, doing this, doing that. I would be very cautious how you handle this situation if I'm the coaching staff. Very cautious how you handle the situation. Not to the point that I think people that are committed would bounce from the class or anything like that. And we talked about how important it is to retain the guys in the class. for the rest of the year. But yo, it just won't be a good look. It won't be a good look. And what's probably frustrating them, you have to connect the dots. Remember, we pulled up the story, some quotes from the story after the said Irvin Jr. decommitment, and how his father was very vocal saying that wasn't the number one school I wanted him to go to anyway. Right? In the aftermath. Okay, Notre Dame dodges a bullet. It's like, oh, if you didn't want him here, he's buried on the depth chart. That was going to be an issue.
It was going to be an issue.
It was going to be an issue. So it's like, okay, we don't have to worry about that. Is the Notre Dame staff looking again like, yo, if he doesn't want his son to be here,
okay,
we might be dodging the issue, dude.
Yeah.
We might be dodging the issue. And that's what I don't understand, fam. You think I wanted my daughter to be over 3,000 miles away from me every day?
Especially if you didn't like her going there.
It's a bunch of people that are in Hollywood. They came out of Columbia, Chicago, downtown. They got real nice dorms downtown, bro. Nice condos, lofts.
DePaul's nice.
Nice. You know what I'm saying?
I like DePaul.
I could have been like, yo, no, stay close to home. You can make it.
Right.
You can make it here.
You can make it anywhere.
You can make it anywhere.
What's the quote?
But that's not where she wanted to be.
She wanted to be.
Plain and simple. And I'm like, you know what? Do what you want to do, babe. I got your back. That's what parenting is all about. Whatever it is that you love and you want to do, I got your back.
Straight up.
And what you talked about earlier and your theory about fathers and their impact on the play of these quarterbacks, they put their sons in bad positions, man.
Bad positions because they son looking up to them.
In bad positions. And then what do you have? This is just unfortunate, yo. It's unfortunate. I ask you a question based upon what Carnell Tate tweeted out. It's probably easier for a wide receiver to go be a number one pick anywhere as opposed to a quarterback just going anywhere.
Well, it depends on the traits. If you got elite traits, it don't matter where you go. Right? So a guy like Patrick Mahomes going to Texas A&M, he has elite traits.
Mm-hmm.
He had scored 75 in a game before. Like,
right.
So he could have been playing at Mississippi Community and would have got the same looks because he had elite traits.
Mm-hmm.
A guy like Joe Burrow, bad situation at first at Ohio State, gets buried on depth chart, goes to the right place, and you'd be like, where has this guy been all his life? Because Joe had traits, but he just got the right opportunity.
Right.
And then you got guys like Jaden Daniels, right place to play, but you at Arizona State going 8-5 every year, ain't nobody really paying attention to you because the traits aren't showing. Not that you don't have them, but they're not showing. So for guys like Dante, it don't matter where you go. He got the traits. Guys like Carnell, a little more dependent on your quarterback or your offense. You can't go no wishbone offense and run a triple option and still go to league, in my opinion, unless you were Calvin Johnson because you have traits. You 6'5", running 4'3". You can go to a heavy run offense.
He has 3 SEC schools, a Big Ten school, and Notre Dame. It's not like he's going to like Navy.
Right, but I'm
He
just saying, like
out of his
the
choices,
anywhere comment.
right.
If it's meaning anywhere like that, no. But if it's anywhere in terms of you can get to the league from Tennessee, even though they don't have guys every year in that position. Yeah. If you got the traits, you can.
Yeah.
And you got the number one quarterback. I mean, Ema Valita, you got a guy that can get you the ball. So you never know.
Yeah. And you can add in like LSU produces first round wide receivers traditionally. So, that tweet could have gone multiple ways. It could have been about Ohio State, could have been about LSU, could have said, I can go to Tennessee and be a first rounder. I can go to Notre Dame and be a first round. Who knows, man? It's just interesting. It's just interesting. But I just wanted to point some of those things out. It is a moment of truth. It's a moment of truth for CJ Carr. It's a moment of truth for Dante Moore and what he really wants. And then it's a moment of truth for this coaching staff and this program. And how they handle this situation.
How do you end the class?
Yeah, like how you handle this situation matters. It matters. You just can't, they're backing off. What does that mean exactly? What? Okay, they're not about to sweat him like they were.
Yeah.
Which I kind of said should have happened. Like, dude, understand this is probably going to play on a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And instead of kind of pushing, just rest in the fact of who you are and the work you've done. That's all. Rest. It's the same process with Christian Gray. They had Christian Gray. He almost committed. He left, started taking other visits, went to USC, went to LSU. To the public, it looked like, man, he's backed off Notre Dame. Back off Notre Dame. He already knew what he needed to know about Notre Dame. He didn't lose his positional coach. Mike Mickens didn't go anywhere. He knew Marcus Freeman.
I heard from Michael Bell yesterday. Mickens, they trust that Mickens know what he's doing. He can make players better on the development level.
He's done it. He started as a true freshman. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to get players ready to play. It's a reason Jaden Mickey was making plays in spring ball. It's a reason.
Yeah.
It was funny. We did a show Saturday, had somebody say that Mike Mickens needs to improve his recruiting. Like, dude, he just got...
Yeah, top 5 recruiter right now.
He just got 4 stars.
And transferring Brandon Joseph.
Dude, it's... And people just totally forget about development. Like, I don't care who you get to the school. Can they develop? Because I see plenty of 5 stars that don't develop. Plenty of 4 stars that don't develop. And then I see 3 stars. The number, 3 overall pick in the draft in his class, bro. Think about this. This is the great... Mike Mickens should put this out on his promo video. The number 3 overall pick in the NFL draft was not only found by Mike Mickens, but developed by Mike Mickens. And you know what his class ranking was when Mike Mickens found him?
What?
In the 2000s, bro. True story. Sauce Gardner was ranked in the 2000s when Mike Mickens found him and developed him.
Damn.
Now he's the number 3 overall pick. What else do you need to say?
Yeah.
We keep talking about 4-star, 5-star. Can you develop dudes? No matter what star they are, can you develop them?
That's the type of guys we got on staff. Guys doing that.
Number 4, number 3, whatever he was.
Yeah.
He was a first-round pick after being the 2000th ranked player in his class. And guess what he did as a freshman? Malik, guess what he did as a freshman? He started. Who got him ready? Who got him ready? Mike Mickens. Yeah. Come on, man. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Sauce.
So that makes you feel good when you start hearing the buzz. Like you said, there's no buzz coming about Angelic.
Ain't no buzz coming about none of them quarterbacks.
We've seen senior players talking about. We've seen Cam Hart talking about Jaden Mickey.
Yeah, we see players will show love when guys is really doing their thing.
Yes.
Yeah. They don't hide it, you know.
Now this goof in the chat talking about he missing the whole point. You see when people want to try to defend something, the point is you just don't go out and get kids. Kids have to be developed. Kids just don't come in ready to be stars. Will Anderson just didn't show up the way he is now.
No.
He's been developed at Alabama.
Oh, for sure.
Has he not?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I don't care what star you are. You have to be developed.
Dallas Turner. He was running back.
Has to be developed. Because he wasn't there. We didn't see him the first 7 weeks. But by the time it hit the college football playoffs,
yeah, by the time it the most highest level of championship level,
he had been developed
and was out there like Will Anderson,
right?
Against Georgia, first round, all line, all types of stuff.
Nick Saban talks about it all the time. You know the number of 3-star linebackers he's brought in that were unknown that ended up being first round picks in the NFL draft to go right along with the 4 and 5 stars he's had. Kool-Aid McKinstry was a 5-star. He looked horrible last year. Did he not? Did he not? Awful. He looked awful, but he's a 5-star.
Yeah.
He's a 5-star. And he was getting ate up all last year in the SEC. But he's a 5-star. People got to stop, man. Stop. There is no disappointment. Dante Moore, CJ Carr, which one is better? Dude, either way, doesn't matter. What we point to, what's number one? Development at the position, which has not been good in this program for the past decade. It has to change. Like he said, now 3-star players take longer. Then why was Sauce Gardner a starter? Immediately. How many touchdowns did he give up in his career, Malik? 0 as a 3-star. I don't talk about that. Either you have the traits or you don't. Either you're a dog or you're not. There are always exceptions. There's exceptions every year. Every year. You know why? Development. There's exceptions in 5 stars too. 5 stars are terrible every year. Every year you can go look in the top 50 and find 5 guys that are busts. Every year. 5 stars that end up being 3rd and 4th round picks every year.
I mean, Arch Manning, I'm saying again, a 5-star ain't did nothing.
Did it take a genius to know that Jadeveon Clowney was going to be good?
Oh, yeah. He could have been. He was a bajillion star.
Like, people act like they really know. Like, I knew Jadeveon Clowney was going to be good. No kidding.
No kidding.
No kidding.
They done made, back when he was in high school, I'll never forget, Nike made a comic book for him. Because he was like a superhero. He wasn't no football player back in high school.
It's crazy. Like they said in the chat, man, Joker, 3-star. JJ Watt, all the Watts, every Watt, 3-star. But they went to a school that has a history of developing defensive linemen and a great defensive coordinator in Jim Leonard. What do you know?
What do you know?
What do you know? Xavier Wamka, 5-star safety Notre Dame missed out on. You know why he's going to, more than likely he's going to be successful? Because he's going to a school that has a history of producing good safeties. What do you know? They got a history of development. And the guys they developed weren't, Bob Sanders wasn't a 5-star dude. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. Aaron Donald, thank you, was a 3-star.
Played at Pittsburgh.
How you like him? Is he good?
They cut him $40 million for the love.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop getting stuck. Like the only way to win is with a 5-star quarterback. It's not the only way to win. It's just not. And I'm not going to what Georgia did this year. That's not what I'm talking about. We appreciate you guys. Man, you guys really locked in today.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And then he goes to Ian Book. Ian Book is the all-time winningest quarterback at Notre Dame. Like, you brought up Ian Book's name like that was going to embarrass Notre Dame somehow. He won the most games at the school. It's like, yo, that's why the Ohio State fan we're going to have on. It's like, you can't really spit at Notre Dame. Like, we're winning 10 games a year in spite of not having a 5-star quarterback. And on top of that, we've gone to 2 college football playoffs. And we really don't delve into the NIL right now.
Nope.
Like everybody else. And we're still putting in this work. It's the greatest brand in college football. That's why they remain to stay independent.
That's right.
Conference-wise and financially. Man, anything else, bro?
I think we got it in today.
I think we covered the situation the way it needs to be covered. Yeah. Answered all the questions. I'm upset. I'll keep it a buck with you. I'm not upset as a fan. I'm not upset as a reporter. I'm upset as a parent today, bro. I'm flat out angered as a parent. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And shout out to the 4 players. If I'm not mistaken, there were 4 players that actually got bumped, commits of Notre Dame. We always talk about the commits. They get yanked down in the rankings. I think I have them right here. Rivals bumped up. Sure I did. I can't find it, man. I don't want to keep everybody, but 5 Notre Dame commits were bumped up in the Rivals rankings. Well, that's a good thing, since we always focus on rankings and numbers and all of that stuff. Let me see if there's some. I know Christian Gray was one. I'm trying to remember the 5 players. Christian Gray, Great House was another one that got a bump. I believe it was Hannafin. And who was the other one? There were 2 more. If not, I'll remind you guys tomorrow who they were. But those are 3 of the guys. commits and targets. Yeah, I saw that Keeley drop and Braylon drop. Keon Keeley is. Everybody knows Keon Keeley is one of the top 2 defensive linemen in the class. I don't care you talk to anybody with common sense that watches film, they'll tell you that he's a difference maker. So, like I said, I don't worry about rankings and dropping. I don't care.
Yeah, these sites are trying to hate on Notre Dame having that #1 class.
Jeremiah Love was unranked. That's the other kid. Jeremiah Love was unranked, and he went up. He went from like unranked to like top 100.
Yeah.
Crazy. And he is a heavy, heavy Notre Dame lean coming into the visit this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy lean. So, anything else? Any other theories you got, bro, on this situation? Because yeah.
Yeah, I think I got it, man. I think we know where it's at.
So we'll see how it plays out, bro. We'll see how it plays out. Should be interesting. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
That's right. Petty Junction. Petty story of the day. Someone said, did something that was just absolutely petty. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. Let me nominate none other than Michigan State's own Golden State Warriors forward, Draymond Green, who has absolutely lost his mind. And he needs to do a little. See, my theory is, they say generational gap, right, bro? I don't believe in generational gaps. I just feel like people have the unwillingness to properly communicate. If you know how to communicate, there is no generational gap. Because the one thing you have to do when you properly communicate, you have to listen. And if you're not willing to listen to somebody else that has a different point of view,
it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. So, he comes and he talks to the media yesterday. He goes on this rant about how, the 90s, 80s and 90s were overrated when it comes to being tough. And like, man, people in the 80s got bullied by Bill Laimbeer. Y'all really didn't have tough guys. Bill Laimbeer was a tough guy. And I said to myself, this is a dude that's never watched more than, I don't think he's ever watched an 80s or 90s game in its entirety. Ever. For you to think, you want me to go down the list of big men that scraped Bill Laimbeer? The fact that you think Bill Laimbeer was a bully, it's a difference between a bully and an irritant. Two totally different things. He got on everybody's nerve, but he got scraped up by Charles Barkley. He got scraped up by Cat. He got scraped up by Rick Mahorn before he joined the Pistons. He got scraped up by Charles Oakley. He got scraped up by Robertson with the Bucks. And the list goes. There's no way Bill Laimbeer was ever a bully. He was an irritant that got smacked around. That's exactly what he was, dude. And the fact that you think that's the representation of the 80s, do some more homework, man.
Do some more homework. You're supposed to be a historian.
You don't have to get rid of the stench of your error when people say it's not a physical error by trying to pull down or discredit another error. And then in discrediting it, do a poor job
Mm-hmm.
of presenting your case. That was just a poor job of presenting the case.
That's it.
That's all. You didn't even bring up Xavier McDaniel. You didn't even bring up Michael Cage. You didn't bring up Anthony Mason. You're like, dude, do you want us to rip, Otis Thorpe with the Houston Rockets next to Hakeem, protecting Hakeem? Are you kidding me? Almost every team in the 80s and 90s had an enforcer.
That's right. Like hockey.
And he's just doing this. He's on this campaign to protect Steph.
Yeah.
In the NBA Finals, bro.
Yeah. That's
continues to bring up KD. Just for no reason. Unsolicited. Like, question wasn't even about KD. You're bringing up KD.
He trying to build his broad podcast and stuff.
Man, look. And he doesn't have to do that because he's really a charismatic dude.
Yeah.
And normally very intelligent.
He caught up in the fanfare of being a villain.
Man, it's like, man, let it go. Man, just let it go. You know, who you putting on the petty train, bro?
Man, petty train today. I can't. Let me think. I think the Draymond thing is definitely on point.
And I put Akeem Hicks on there right quick.
Put Akeem Hicks on there.
Akeem Hicks, former defensive tackle for Chicago Bears, now defensive tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His press conference with the Buccaneers, he said when he first got to the NFL, he had a quarterback in Tom Brady. You know, and then he said when he got to the Bears, he didn't know what it was like to have a quarterback. And now, once again, he's in Tampa Bay. Now he knows what it's like to have a quarterback.
He had Rex Grossman in the championship.
Look, man, Akeem, you didn't have to say all that, bro.
You had to say all that.
No, you could have just said, I'm happy to be reunited with Tom. Love playing with him in New England.
He was tired of them quick transitions. He get 3 and now he right back home from a pick 6 or something.
And throw the entire Chicago Bears front office for losing an OTA, for violating league rules by allowing contact in one of their mini camps. Like, dude, you just got the jobs. You just took over. You already violating league rules. Come on, man.
Terrible.
Man, they're definitely going to be in the market for a top 5 pick next year in the league, dude. Chicago fans, it's going to be a long winter, man.
Jeez.
It's going to be a long winter. And I don't care how it plays out, but the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson.
That whole thing, petty.
Forget the 24 women, right? And Deshaun Watson. Like, that's already established. This New York Post, I don't know if you guys saw this. The New York Post had a story come out yesterday where the Texans were setting up these sessions, giving him the hotel rooms and giving him NDAs, bro. Are you kidding me? Now I understand. They knew this was coming. They tried to part ways and act funny. And Deshaun was like, man, trade me. Because we in this together. Y'all know what's going on. We're in this together. Now you trying to paint it like it's me? Nah. Get me out of here. Come on, man.
Crazy.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
They said he had 66
66
months.
Yes. And
Like,
how many months?
17. That's a lot.
He's a clown, bro. He's a clown. He's a clown, bro. There's no other way around it. You're a clown, bro.
Yeah, that's it was 66 different. At least they said at least, like it's way more than that, but we just know 66 different. It's like, is it even 66 that are in the same area?
Yeah.
You had to fly them in or something, man. They ain't 66 in the whole city.
Yeah. And Dr. Karl Marx is funny. I'm not mad. I know how to express myself and put emphasis on words because I'm a professional. Been in the business for like 10 years in the third largest market. I know how to make my point. Promise you, you don't impact my life. You can never make me mad. Not talking college football. We appreciate you though. And I love the way you troll because I love the way LL Nation comes back at you. It's good for the chat. But as far as it comes to development of stars, you're wrong. You're wrong.
That's it. We
That's
ended
all.
like that, Jack.
That's all. You're wrong. LSU gets every 5-star offensive lineman. Jamarcus Russell was a 5-star. We won't go down the list of 5 stars, but dude, this is like, stop. You don't have, this is my point. You don't have to be a genius to look at Dante Moore play and say, he's going to be a really good quarterback. No kidding. No kidding. Find me a coach that can go find a Sauce Gardner and develop him and mix him with the 5 stars. Because you can't have a roster full of 5 stars at Notre Dame. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So we have to go find some guys that need to be developed.
Yeah.
Like a Jaden Mickey. That's all I'm saying.
That's it.
60. Bro, you know that's not right, bro. You know that's not right. 60?
I love Shaun, man. that's just crazy.
Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com, man. Thanks everybody for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow. If there's any more breaking news, we'll let you know about it. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Hit the like button, share, let everybody know. We spin it different. And make sure you spin it different today. For Malik, Zaire, I'm Shaun Davis. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning.